you've just finished making your skirt or your pants. And now you have to do the waistband or the waist facing. I have a really easy technique. I'll show you what it is coming up. Have you ever noticed there are so many different versions of finishing off the waist? Like a waistband, a waist facing, like this is a waistband, it was separate, a turned inside waistband, top stitch, understitch. Sometimes there's a lot of work in a waistband. There's even, like this is a lined skirt with the waist facing, so just basic. Then the waist facing comes in there, and then the lining's attached. There's so many different versions. I actually even, I have an easier way that I've been doing for years that when I get to the waistband part, I always go like, okay, now I gotta do the facing and all that, trimming and understitching and all that stuff. And this is the way they, I found a pattern that still has it in there. There's like the facings, and then you turn it right sides together, go over the zipper, understitch it, fold it in to finish off the edge. A lot of work. Who needs it anyway? So I, for years, have been starting to just use bias tape to roll it inside and then just finish off the edge and make it comfortable, not all that stitching and stuff in your waistband and hurting, digging into your waist, and also a chance for a pop of color, putting in some color like that. So I have I actually made this bias tape myself and then added it into the waist. To show you some of my other bands. So I did a solid black skirt that had some blue piping in it, and then I did a blue bias strip right here, and then I even understitched it black. What are you gonna do? Didn't have to do that, but I did. Then this was a fun one. I did had some little shorts that I made, and then I put a tie-dye bias tape in there. So really fun. I'm going to show you an easy way to do this. So after you have your skirt all made with the zipper and all that, you just have to finish the waistband and then probably the hem. I don't know. But what you need first is bias tape. Comes in different sizes. We have single fold bias tape, which is the really small one. That's good for real small trimming around maybe armholes and things like that. But what we are looking for is the single, I think it's called a double fold. I don't even know. Double fold bias tape. This one says extra wide. I don't know. I think this is from the 80s. This is, got an 80s hairdo here. So, actually I got to show you what I found in my little box of tapes and laces. Actually I have about 4 of these. Because I have a sewing school, I have people that donate stuff, and I just came across this right here. Wright's bias trimming. It doesn't have a price on it, but I have another one I came and it's still open. It says 15 cents. And it's a checkered thing. So I had this, and then I had another one that had this in it, and I pulled it out and it kind of broke right here. So it actually, bias tape had instructions in it, which nowadays they do not. So here's another one. It's just a card. There's no instructions. Back in the day, they used to sew all the time. But also, I found this little sheet that came out of here, and I love like history stuff. And this is the little, one of the instructions right here. So the back side. But if you look at the sketches right here, these are, and their hair is like from the 20s, late 20s. It's a bob. The dresses look a little on the 30s, but it's probably like, I don't know, what is that? The speakeasy time, right? When they wore the flappers and all. So this piece of bias tape is probably 100 years old, because we're in 2021. Oh my gosh. It's in that zone, probably 90 years old, close to 100. So I'm not going to use this. But you should. It's like having china. You should just use your china, right? But I just came across that. I was like, oh my God, I love all this history stuff. So now I gotta know, what do I do with it? Don't tell anybody I have it, because I might get burglarized. Anyway. I love that history stuff. Where were we? Sorry about that. So I wanted to show you how we can use, this is a extra wide, again, double. See, to me this is not extra wide. So So there's the Wrights brand, and then this is the Hobby Lobby, which I like, and I love this one. This is, totally feel this is polyester in there. Extra wide double fold. So this is the kind of bias tape I'm going to use to show you on a sample. I've made a sample skirt right here, little darts, and a back zipper, and I'm going to show you how to put that bias tape on, although it's probably pretty simple. But just in case you don't know, I will show you. I'm going to use this bias tape, which is the double fold right here, and it opens up, looks like this. Have to trim all part of it. Also, did you know that on biases, sometimes if you look right here, there's a little edge right here that doesn't quite meet up, and that's on purpose. You're actually supposed to sew this part so that when it rolls inside out, you actually have a little extra, like 1/8 of an inch over, so that when you top stitch it over, that it catches. So there's a reason for that. It's like, how did they figure that out? Anyway, how did they, get in with the machines to get all this folded exactly right? It's crazy, because bias is tricky. Anyway, let me show you how we can do this. Okay, the first thing we got to do is take our double fold bias tape and trim off part of it, because we don't want it to be bulky, and then we don't need all this extra layer. So I'll use pinking shears in here to show you where I'm trimming. I'm just going to take out whatever width it is on my waistband and trim this off. So now I'll only have a little part of it. I'll be sewing right here and then folding it over, and then this part will go in there. So I'm going to trim that, and then I'll place it. Okay, have it all trimmed, and now I just have to place it all along the waistband here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend it past 1 inch or 2, because I just got to roll it over, and I'm going to pin right in where that crease is. So also my waistband here is only 1/2 inch. It's close to about 1/2 inch. So the lengthwise on there, if it says 5/8, it's not going to matter too much, but if you think it will, just trim off, or you can actually just place this another 1/8 of an inch down, so you'll be sewing in this crease right here. So if right here there'd be 5/8, but I just usually just do 1/2 inch waistband, or 1/2 inch seam allowance right there. So we're just going to go around here. We're just going to be sewing all this, and then you have to also have a little extension left over, so that when we get to this part here, you have this extension here, because what we'll be doing is just rolling it in and turning it inside like that. So let me show you how we sew this. All right, have it all sewn right into that crease, and now we're going to be, and actually what you might want to do too is go and press the edge here, but don't unpress that first crease. This has a little bit of a lip here, but this actually just don't really need to press it much, but you want it pretty flush over that way. Also check that some of your fabric doesn't peek over that, because it's going to go in here, and then you'll have that raw edge. So if that happens with the seam allowance, just go in and trim it. If it happens a lot, that means you sewed something wrong. And here also you want to make sure, like if you have darts, that they're going in the right direction, that they're where you're pressed, because it's so easy to get them twist, and then that makes it bulky that way. So you want everything to be smooth. You want your seam opens, your seam facings, if they're open, to be open. Now what I got to do is go and understitch this bias tape right here, so that it really stays down even better, and it creates a little bit more stability in there, because a lot of waistbands have inner facings and all that stuff to give it a little more stability. So I'm just going to go and do a quick understitch here, and then we'll roll it into the inside. Have the understitch in. Real simple. Just make sure none of this gets folded all under. You want it smooth so that the waistband is smooth. Have that stitched in. It's just a 1/4 inch stitch right past the seam. Then you want to go and press it. So you would bring your iron, and you can actually press it this way, and then go under, tuck it under right here. And you don't want it pressed like that. You want to go right on the edge, with just maybe 1/8 of an inch up like that. And then you just press the band all the way down like that. And then what you do on these ends right here, like this is the zipper part here, is You might want to trim some of this, but actually this one usually needs a little more. So we're going to fold this over like this and then tuck it under there, so I wouldn't cut any of that extension off, and then just fold it here, and then you're going to go and stitch. I actually don't even stitch right on that stitch. I might stitch just a hair past it because you want to get this tab up under there like that, so it'll tuck under really good. You don't want to crowd it out. Then right here you might trim a little bit of this. I'd say about just an inch over here, and then again roll it in and then roll it under like that, so it looks like so. And then right here again, go and stitch right here, but not right on that stitch also, and then it will work like that, and you'll still have the little tab covering over it like that. Now also what you want to do too, if you can you could totally top stitch this whole thing down, or if you don't want that top stitch, you just take it where the side seams are, and then you would actually stitch in the ditch right here. I have a video out on that also, called Stitch in the Ditch. You want to just put it on the side seams right here. So there's that seam, side seam there, and then you just go stitch there, and then there's your waist facing. Really simple. That's a simple waist facing. There you have it. Simplest ever waistband. Got it all stitched in the ditch. Right there, you can see it on the other side. Have this zipper covered, the tab right there. Just tucks right under there. Looks like that on the other side. I just stitched it right there. And then, now I didn't top stitch this one, but if you top stitched it, it would look like that. Just do a top stitch. Gives a little even more security. And if you top stitch it, you don't really even have to understitch it because the bias is rolling in the inside, so there's no understitch there. So hope that helped. Now, when you finish your skirt now, waistband's as good as done. See you in the next sew bit.